Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. Today we are talking about the new Predator movie, Prey.
It knows how to hunt. I know how to survive.
A skilled Comanche warrior protects her tribe from a predator that hunts humans for sport, fighting against wilderness, dangerous colonizers, and this mysterious creature to help keep her people safe. And before we get into things, I just want to let you guys know that there is two versions of this film available on Hulu. There is just the regular English version, and then there is also a dubbed Comanche version as well. I was able to check out both of those versions of the film, and I think I slightly prefer the Comanche version just a little bit more. So Prey is directed by Dan Trachtenberg, and this is a prequel to the original Predator film. It takes place about 300 years ago in the northern Great Plains. So the film follows our main character Naru, who she's part of the Comanche tribe, and we find out that she is a great tracker and a great healer as well, but she wants to become a hunter like her brother in the film. While out on a hunt with her brother to try and help retrieve one of their people that was attacked by a lion, she ends up realizing that there's something out here in the wilderness that is much more dangerous than the lion that they're hunting. So I'll let you guys know that I was kind of really nervous going into this movie, just because the Predator franchise has definitely had its fair share of missteps along the way. Although, once I saw the trailer for this and got the concept of where they were trying to go with this movie, I was actually pretty excited because I was like, okay, this seems like, it just seems like a really fresh take on this franchise, and that's what I think this franchise needed. So Amber MidThunder, she plays the character of Naru, and I thought that she was amazing. I absolutely loved the character. Right from the get-go, I was drawn to her because outside of even the stuff that we get with the Predator a little bit later on in the movie, we get to see her working on training out in the woods, making weapons, setting traps. Also get to see her working on, she's really good with medicine. So just those couple things, to me, I found really fascinating. Her walking about, in the woods and just seeing the different land and stuff like that. Honestly, if the Predator wasn't in this movie, it still would have been cool just to learn more about the Comanche tribe and their people. And honestly, after watching this movie, that's one of the biggest takeaways from me, is that I would love to learn more about these people. So it's something I'm probably going to do a little bit more research into that. So I think when you watch a movie and that, you get that kind of reaction, that kind of takeaway, honestly, I think that, that's really cool. So that's one of my biggest takeaways, but I really, really love the character, and I thought that Amber MidThunder did a great job with her. I was wondering when I saw the trailer for this movie, and I saw that it was going to be a predator taking on this Native American tribe, I was like, well, how is this going to work? Because you have, the people that are in this tribe, they only have weapons like bow and arrows, axes, things like that, and they're facing off against this predator that has these, otherworldly kind of weapons and things like that. So I was a little worried how they were going to make that work, but honestly, I thought that they did a good job of handling that very well in this movie and made it believable, because very early on from the get-go, like I said, you get to see Naru out in the woods training, kind of making these different kind of weapons. We see her setting traps and things like that. So they laid the groundwork very early on, showing that this character is very smart. So even though, she maybe doesn't have it necessarily, can't go like toe-to-toe fighting this creature, but she has these smarts to work around that. So I thought they did a really good job with that. And also, you have to understand that this movie, it takes place over 300 years ago. So you have this predator, while definitely still has some advanced technology compared to what the Comanche people have in this movie, this predator is quite a bit different from what we get on in later, films in the franchise. So I thought that was, interesting as well. Dakota Beavers plays her older brother, Tabe, I'm probably saying his name wrong, I apologize, but he plays the older brother character in this movie, and, you have Naru, who she really wants to be like her older brother. They kind of have this sibling rivalry, which, happens in a lot of families, but they have this sibling rivalry. Even though they do have that, though, you can tell that he really cares about his sister, wants to protect her, and I think I honestly saw that this was one of Dakota's first films, major roles. So, like, if that's the case, I'm really excited to see where the rest of his career goes, because I thought he was a really great character in this movie, too. Overall, as far as how this film looks, just in general, I thought that there were some really gorgeous shots in this movie, you know, where they are out in the woods, the mountains, some really gorgeous shots of nature. And I thought that with this movie, they really were kind of like bringing it back to the basics, it felt like, for me. So some really, really good shots. Yes, there is some moments where the CGI is a little off with some of the animals. But honestly, when it comes to like the Predator, I thought the Predator looked fantastic. And honestly, if I had to choose between some of the animals that you're going to see and the Predator, which is arguably one of the biggest parts of the movie, I would rather them focus like that money if they had to alleviate, you know, send that money somewhere else, to send it to spending it on the Predator. And they do that in this movie. So the Predator looks great. Some of the animals, not so much. But for me, that wasn't something that took me out of the movie. And everything else, like I said, a lot of really, really good shots in this movie overall, too. There was this one specific scene in the movie, too, where, you know, it's not really a spoiler or anything, but where you kind of get a circle of life moment, because you get an ant that's, you kind of see crawling up the Predator, then you see a mouse, there's a snake, and then the Predator's involved. So I won't go into complete detail, but it was just really cool to kind of see that play out. So that was like one of my favorite scenes in the movie. There is quite a few kills in this movie, and there's one in particular that all I will say, it involves a tree trunk, that was probably one of my favorite death scenes in the movie. But yeah, you definitely get a good amount. I would not say it's probably like the goriest out of all of the Predator movies, but you definitely get a good amount of kills in this movie for sure. So if you guys are looking for that in this type of film, I think that you'll appreciate that. Overall, I think Prey is a great entry to the Predator franchise. It's definitely number 2, if not right up there with the original Predator for me. I absolutely love this movie, and like I said, you know, to kind of start things off, I was a little worried going into this, because originally I was like, another Predator movie, do we really need this? The last couple really haven't been that great. But then, you know, when we finally got the trailer and as it started getting close, I was starting to hear some really good word of mouth, and I was like, I'm really trying to not go into this thing now expecting, like, having a really high level expectations. But honestly, for me, my expectations were fairly high by the time I got to watch this. And for me, it blew me away. I thought there were some interesting characters here, led by MidThunder. And just, you know, the film looked great. Some really cool action with the Predator. And yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to be one of my favorite movies of the year up to this point so far. So, and I am so mad that I was not able to see this thing on the big screen. Like, I understand why it didn't, because, or to a degree I kind of do, because I believe the last couple Predator movies haven't done that well at the box office, if I remember correctly. So that's probably why they didn't put it on there. But I really hope that this film, because I've seen nothing really but great things said about it online, so it would be really cool if this movie gets enough good word of mouth that maybe they would do like a limited release where it's in theaters for like a week or 2 or something. Because, man, I wish that I could have seen this thing on the big screen. I don't know which version. I did like the Comanche version a little bit more with the English version, but I mean, either one I would be fine with, you know, seeing on the big screen as long as I got to check it out. So I definitely want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this movie overall. Did you get a chance to watch both versions of the film? Which one did you like better? And where does this rank for you in the Predator franchise? So definitely let me know down below in the comments. If you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to it. That way you get notifications for all my new videos. If you guys can give this video a thumbs up, I really appreciate that. Helps so much with the channel, with the YouTube algorithm. And if you guys can leave a comment, that would be even better. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. And make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.